Hi, Arara Villano here. I want to talk a little about mental health, mostly artists dealing with mental health. I've seen so many artists throwing their careers in the dump because they're going through something. They don't know how to communicate it, and commissions starts to get delayed. That adds even more anxiety into the mix. So now you're ghosting everyone because you don't want to deal with that. I wanted to record something about how to deal with this, at least my experience as an artist, and how do I deal with my own issues. I hope this be useful for you. So what do I know about this? Well, I went through a very crippling depression from 2016 through 2020-21. Mid-pandemic, I finally resumed routinely creating again. During that hiatus, I just could not create anything. It was bad. And I still did not recover fully, actually. And there's always that fear that the next time I'm procrastinating, it just be that crippling depression happening all over again. So with my therapist, I created a bunch of procedures that work for me, and I want to go through them. Transparency is the key. You gotta be honest with yourself. Acknowledge you have a problem so you can start dealing with it. You're the only one that can solve it. So when I'm hired for an art commission today, I actively try to communicate that I am not ghosting the person. Communication is key, so if I'm not doing too good, I will tell the person. This week I didn't do shit, I'll probably won't do anything next week either, because I know my brain, it constantly melts and stops working, so I just rest. And when I am in the resting state, my therapist would say procrastination, the less I feel anxious about anything going on in my life, the faster I can come back. Having anyone that is waiting something out of you, on the loop of what is actually going on, wishing you well, not hurrying you, that helps a lot. Sometimes it's crazy, like I'm already 2 days unable to work, I'm getting worried, I'm going through something bigger, then I go talk with the person to explain what is happening, and the talk itself sometimes is enough to charge a little bit of my battery. Of course, I work in a very small community, the VR community, the Golden Gator lobby, so I feel it's easier to open up and talk with everyone there. It's a lot closer relation. Explain stuff, it's easier, and you build trust over time. So I feel I could delay stuff for months if needed, and people would gladly wait if they actually know what is happening. So I also don't take that for granted. That's another thing, like the payment, because I always ask for payment later. I know it's very common artists not getting paid for their work and getting scammed, so payment first is usually a good safe practice. But for me, that takes a lot of anxiety out of the deal. If anything happens, I'm always ready to drop the work. I won't be able to finish this, I'd rather just get out. I want to be able to say that. When people pay you first, usually they get a lot more entitled to demand stuff out of you, and they are in their right, but that just gets harder, right? And it's harder to pay them back if you want to pull out, and I cannot deal with that. Yes, you might get scammed if you're not paid, but at least you won't be indefinitely paralyzed by anxiety. That's what happened to me many times. In fact, last year I went through something much like this. It was a big work. I was loving working on it. I really liked not only the job but the person as well. I always wanted to work with them, but my anxiety kicked in hard. Stuff started happening in my life. It was not entirely my fault. But the person was not as charitable, and they had made an upfront payment, and I found myself already months behind. I really needed the money, and as I just told, I really wanted to work with the person, and the job was almost finished, but I had to drop it. It was hard taking that decision, but it's like I said, like I have these procedures. I had to drop it. And the second I dropped it, I went into an art rampage. I worked from June to October without a hitch. That had never happened since I resumed doing art. I'm sure that person might watch this video. It's nothing personal, but it's something that goes on, I guess. Like whenever you feel you don't owe anything to anyone, you get much more free and you can do your stuff, especially with creativity. That's very common. You need that. Like right now, I usually have some type of hindrance every week. At least one day in the week, I won't be able to do any work. Sometimes it will last even a little more. In the past, I used to get very frustrated when this happened, so that would only make it worse. After I started treating this as a regular occurrence, just something my brain does now, I guess, I don't get so bad, and it doesn't take that long to recover as well. Oh, but it's almost done. If I just sit through it for a couple hours, I can deliver that, get my money, that will make me feel better, and then I can rest later, right? Well, for me, it doesn't work that way. I have to stop. And the sooner I tell that to the person that is waiting, the better. I feel much, much better. Sometimes that also happens the other way around. When someone commissions you, but something happens and now they cannot pay you. So they will ghost you because they don't know how to deal with that either. And most artists will rush to Twitter, screenshot all their DMs, try to burn that person or whatever makes them feel better. I guess this is what most people do these days. That already happened to me, and not only I was always able to get my money, I also forged a bond of trust with these people, because I'm always very blunt and say stuff like, look, I don't want to assume anything, but if you're going through something, you need your time to pay me, it's all good, take your time, whenever you're ready, I'm here. I try to leave the channel of communication open. I try to keep the communication going, so that the person can trust me and can come back. Look, the reality is that everyone today has some level of mental issues. Our environment and the need for constantly making money to go through our day-to-day, it makes slowing down and be thoughtful about all these things really hard. We don't have time for that. But the crazy part is that doing all these things not only allowed me to work again, like if I didn't slow down I wasn't going to be able to work at all, but they also allowed me to work better, healthier, I guess. I'm working a lot more, making better stuff, making more money than I used to. People trust me a lot more. I have a safe space, a community I can depend on. And I do think all of this started to change because I started being more honest with people about me, being more honest with myself about it. I wasn't the mental health guy some years ago. I guess I am now. Which is also crazy because I'm doing that through a VTuber character while I couldn't do that with my own face and name. Well, but that could be a subject for another video. Just wanted to get all of this out. Don't know if this is the best way to do it, but I hope it helps you in some manner. Thank you. Hope you keep enjoying my art.